Hey, this is Frodo from my closet. Frodo Finds. Thank you for coming in. Hey, we're gonna talk about this Comey, Comey, Comey. Trump says he won't get involved. Um, he's gonna let Patel and Bondi investigate. So we don't know. Let's watch him.
Reaction intensifies over the antics of former FBI Director James Comey. He posted that picture that shows seashells in the sand arranged to form the numbers 8647. 86, yes. Eliminate someone, knock them off in slang. 47, President Trump is the 47th president.
Yeah.
Comey later deleted it, but even grade schoolers know nothing goes away on the internet. Comey led the FBI under ex-President Obama, but insists he was not aware that the number 86 could be associated with violence.
I don't believe that.
Trump's FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino said Comey brought shame to the FBI badge yet again. President Trump told Fox News this.
He knew exactly what that meant.
Of course.
A child knows what that meant. If you're the FBI director and you don't know what that meant assassination. And it says it loud and clear. Now, he wasn't very competent, but he was competent enough to know what that meant.
What do you want to see happen?
I don't want to take a position on it because that's going to be up to Pam and all of the great people. I'm not going to get involved.
Yeah. So what do I think about that? Well, I think that Comey have found a way to get into the front page again, and that's what he wants. I mean, he has like a new books coming up, I think, then because he's got to go into that media blitz to promote his books. So he found a way to be in the front page and talking about that because he longed for that. He likes to be the center of attention. He thinks that Trump and him is like equal in the sense of how Trump would equal with Putin, So he's his lease bag. He's an opportunist. He's trying to sell his book. He's trying to be relevant again because all this success that Trump's administration is getting, everyone's getting buried. That's why they say something like that. They resurface. That's like, who's that? Bruce Springsteen, out in doing a world tour, and then he has to bash America and Trump to be on the front page, to be in the news. That's how they do it, man.
Attorney General Pam Bondi has not said if there will be consequences for James Comey. Here's a headline: Trump world has tough case with Comey over assassination message. And then it quotes, prosecutors have to balance the content of the alleged threat with other First Amendment protections that could be an uphill battle.
Well, here you go. The thing, he didn't follow through because he deleted it. He just wants the media's attention. He just wants something, or the media will talk about him. He deleted it. He refused, or he did not acknowledge. So he pretended that he doesn't know. He's a liar, and that's all he did. They can't press charge him. I mean, what do they want from him? Apology? He's not going to apologize. He's not going to apologize because he's a sleazebag.
Given the broader meaning surrounding 86ing someone, the term originated in the hospitality industry, used to indicate a client should not be served or that a restaurant was out of a particular item, end quote. In focus, Charles Marino, now former Secret Service agent and former Homeland Security Department advisor. Thanks for being with me today. All right, let's just start with the former FBI director not knowing a full meaning of 86. Your reaction?
Well, he's a national embarrassment, specifically to the FBI And what I can tell you is nobody's buying his seashells by the seashore story, that he just stumbled upon this natural formation of seashells that spelled out
Mister,
8647.
we should start calling him James Seashell Comey. That's gonna stick.
And then went on to post that, not knowing what it meant, and then took
Yeah.
that post down. And the
Yeah.
problem for James Comey is Democrats are nowhere to be found by his side because his political usefulness for the party has
done.
expired.
Expired,
This
yeah.
leads to some real credibility
Yeah.
questions about James Comey currently. And also, what was his credibility like when he was director of the FBI?
Low.
Yeah, oh, you know what? Something that you said, though, I don't think we really focused on, and that is the fact that he honestly thinks that we would believe that the water in the seashells formed 8647.
Right.
I mean, that's the sign of something else going on.
Again, that's not what he was. That was just not the ultimate. That was not his ultimate goal. So ultimate goal is to just, just to have the media, especially the right, talking about him. So now, like I said, the second steps for him, or third steps, will be just to be in, a panel of CNN or MSNBC to talk about that. What happened, especially if I believe the FBI or Secret Service, already went to his house and had a conversation with him. Of course, it's probably going to deny everything. Why would he? That's if he's not denying it, if he's still calling out, or he's doubling down in that. Yeah, they would probably press charge, or they would have a case. But no, they don't have a case. He wants to be the center of attention. So, and he got it.
Well, it is. And that's what Secret Service agents get to the bottom of. Look, they opened up a case. He's going it alone now. He's already been interviewed, likely to be interviewed again. And this case will ultimately be presented to the Department of Justice and the United States Attorney for the District of Columbia if it hasn't been already. And
well, it has, but it's not there. I mean, he knows what he's doing. And he's not looking for the Democrat to be on his side. He's just looking for a quick buck. A quick resurfacing in from the bottomless pit of what he came from to the front page again. So I mean, that's basically, he knows how to manipulate things. He knows that. Look at his face. Look how smug this guy is. Yeah, he looks like you're a typical salesperson or car salesman that you won't trust. Well, you'll not be able to trust. Well, you can't trust. Well, yeah, the way he talks. Same thing with all of the, those Democrats. That the way they talk is just I can sense them. If I have a BS meter, it'll be probably going off every time they talk.
all of these facts that you and I just discussed, it means DOJ needs to sit back and say, really, is this a plausible excuse, or is there something more serious going on with James Comey right now?
Well, if it's up to him, if it's up to James Comey, of course he wants Trump to be gone or disappeared. Of course. But he's not going to admit that.
Look, Charles, I've never done your job for either of those departments, particularly the Secret Service. But when you have someone who clearly, as you just said, looking at the facts, needs to at least have their case looked at, does it matter whether you can win? Because I ask that because you probably heard the headlines, tough case for the Trump administration, meaning it's going to be legally difficult. But it does.
It is. It's going to be difficult. What James Comey wants is for you guys to be talking about him. So I would, if I'm like Trump, FBI or Pam Bondi and Patel, talk to him. Of course, they already did it. They already talked to him. Where is it at? He's going to deny, and then just close case and say, we're not going to pursue this because it's something that it's stupid, and because you can't, you're not gonna be able to charge him for anything, So just move on, and of course he's gonna he's gonna squirm, and like he's gonna feel like he's the a little kid with ADHD that wants attention. That's what. Just let him be. I mean, look, we haven't heard Comey for a while, you know. Well, once in a while, you know, there's a mention of him, but nothing really like this. That, you know, he threatened President Trump by posting that seashells. It's a gimmick.
That if you want to put, you know, whether they're soft pedaling or illicit threats out there, you got to think about that.
Yeah.
Well, this is a unique case, certainly because of the notoriety of James Comey and those that potentially he could incite with this type of post. But when you talk about winning, Harris, I think for the Secret Service, winning is mitigating threats potentially against the President of the United States. The first thing to establish is there an immediate threat against the President of the United States? Or is there something going on here mentally with James Comey, which has caused him to make very poor decisions?
Well, one opinion piece puts it this way. Comey puts fidelity to profits before fidelity to the FBI in country. It makes this interesting argument about why we may have made that incendiary post, or why he may.
See, James Comey puts fidelity to profits before fidelity to FBI in country. It says in real life, Comey stokes public fury in order to make money on a book. But in Comey's dream world, far-right speakers must be imprisoned because their political speech targets intellectuals.
They have, quote, in real life, Comey stokes public fury in order to make money on a book. But in Comey's dream world, far-right speakers must be imprisoned because their political speech targets intellectuals, immigrants, and people of color. Comey might have a fetish for public attention and book sales profits, but he plainly lacks fidelity to the better ethos of the organization he previously led. Comey has a novel coming out soon.
There you go.
Charles.
I agree with that statement, but there's got to be a red line established, and we're seeing this red line get crossed more frequently.
He knows the red line. He knows where to tiptoe that red line. He knows that. By
former and current public officials when it comes to the public discourse over things like policy and elections. And it needs to stop, and people need to be held accountable. And James Comey needs to know that he does have notoriety. And what he does post, if it comes in the form of a threat against the President of the United States, needs to be taken more serious.
Yeah, puts it in a different category. Charles Marino, always great to have you in focus. Thank you for your time and your expertise.
Thanks, Harris.
Hey, everyone.
So, so that's basically it, huh? So he's going to, he's got a book coming out, so he's going to, he wants the press and media and online and social media to be talking about him. That's James Comey for you. This is Lee's bag, Comey. Keep it here.